Six Nations round number 3, folks. Game 2 from Murrayfield, and it's Scotland. 4 wins in a row over England. They said this record goes back a very long time since the Scottish side has been able to do that. Retain the Calcutta Cup, 30 points to 21, coming back from a 10-point deficit. We'll go through some key events and stats. The sun is just coming up, and perhaps in honour of the Scots, the rain has started coming down, but we'll go through some key events and stats. You guys can let us know your thoughts. I thought this game was going to be close. I didn't realise there would be quite so many errors. The first half in particular was kind of error-ridden. Like the handling error count in this game equaled the Irish and Welsh game in its entirety after a mere 28 minutes. So suffice to say, the opening period of the game was a little bit scrappy, although England certainly started the better of the two sides. I mean, geez, they had so much possession, so much territory in the Scottish half early on, and they got the first try after only 5 minutes. Furbank, who was a slightly surprising inclusion into the side over Freddie Stewart, who had been playing pretty well. He scored the first try of the game. It was a scrum for England in Scottish territory. Ben Earl pick off the back of the scrum, gets it to Kerr, to Ford, to Daly, and Furbank through the gap. It was a real thing of beauty try from England, man. So 7-0. Scotland were putting a wee shove on at scrum time, but the way Ben Earl got the pick up was pretty good, man. So 7-0 to England early. Zander Fagerson goes off for an HIA. Matt wasn't playing, sadly. But, and then immediately Scotland give away a penalty at scrum time. So it's more bad news for Scotland. Millar-Mills got pinged at scrum time. Then he got pinged a bit later on at the breakdown. So England slotted a 10-pointer. A 3-pointer. I've been up since 3 in the morning. 10 points to 0 for England. Very good way for them to start the game. Murrayfield is quiet. Although, as I said, it's not been that pretty just because of the error count. I think both sides will be a little bit frustrated. It's not like it was really piddling down and, there's a reason to have such kind of poor handling at times. That being said, in this game, when Scotland came alive, they came alive suddenly and with passion, with force. Their first try basically comes out of nowhere. Scotland. I mean, Tuipulotu and Jones. How many times have we talked about that combination in the midfield? They are fantastic. Tuipulotu pops the ball to Jones, who's clear in space, again, from a scrum. And then Jones is able to pop it from the deck to an on-rushing Duhan van der Merwe, who ends up getting 3 tries in this game. It's a hat-trick for him, but that's his first one. He loves playing England. His stats against England are phenomenal. He beat double the amount of defenders in this game than in the previous 2 games. He just likes playing England. So, Scotland, who haven't really fired a shot, first entry into England's 22, 7 points on the board. So 10 points to 7, that's looking a fair bit like, more like game on. And then another one, and it comes from a handling error. This time it's Furbank, who scored that earlier try. He knocks it on in the tackle. Which essentially Hugh Jones is able to pounce on. He gets it to Duhan van der Merwe, who looks up to see Ben Earl. Figures he's got him for gas on the outside, and sure enough he does. Ben Earl beaten wide, and Duhan on that turnover ball, able to go over. So 14-10. I think it was 2 entries into the 22 and 2 tries for Scotland. So hell of a way to punch back. Like I said, when they hit back, it was... it was effective. A penalty on 34 minutes extended their lead to 17-10. And, Scotland continue their knack, though, of scoring points and not taking restarts. I feel like I need to keep stats on it. I always talk about it, but never do. But certainly that's one moment where they've just scored a penalty, don't take the restart. England gets some field position. George Ford is able to hit a drop goal in reply to basically nullify the 3 points they just scored. So 17-13, that's the halftime score. Handling errors is 7-8. As I said, in the Welsh-Irish game, it was 7-4 across the 80. So they've exceeded that total. England's had 56% possession, 67% territory, 3 clean breaks to 2. But they go in behind on the scoreboard. Second half, Tuipulotu only lasts about 30 seconds. I think they Might have thought he was going to be able to run off a knock that he'd taken to his leg, but no, he has to go off. So Redpath comes on. And Duhan's able to get his hat-trick early on. Like, the Scots don't really like scoring in the final 20, the Six Nations, but other times seem to be fine. This time it's Russell with a kick charged down. But it creates a little bit of a broken play because then Redpath's able to get a big old line break. And then from the next cross kick from Russell, Duhan's able to field it. 24-13. It's starting to look like a long way back for England. We get the obligatory TMO stoppage for a whole lot of nothing on 49 minutes, which breaks a little bit of the momentum of the game. And then a little bit later, Ford is able to slot a penalty to at least bring it back to 24-16. And Scotland a couple of times did this from the restart themselves, because they have been guilty over the how many years I've been watching them of conceding points straight after scoring, where when they would concede points, at least they did it at least twice, they would take the kick off as quick as they could. And it worked this time because George Martin, potentially not 100% prepared or without a support team around him for catching the kickoff, he knocks it on. So, maybe that's a little bit of a boon for the Scots on the restart, because like I said, I feel like they're a team who doesn't do restarts that well, but that one worked pretty good, so it gives them a bit of field position. Christie comes on, he immediately wins a turnover. A couple of minutes later, Scotland are able to slot a penalty themselves, so 27-16. England, I guess, feeling the need to chase the game, ring some changes. They bring on Finn Smith for Ford, they bring on Feyi-Waboso, they bring on Joe Marler, and I figure they had to kind of maybe stop kicking the high balls at this point, because Kinghorn had dropped a couple, but Kinghorn's a big dude at 15 and was largely able to field them without too much drama. So they needed to maybe run the ball a bit more. And we did see a bit of that from Feyi-Waboso. I hope that guy has earned a start based on what we saw from him in this game, but I'm kind of pessimistic in that regard. We'll kind of have to wait and see. England conceded a penalty from the breakdown. It's another 3-pointer for Scotland, so 30 points to 17. But wouldn't you know it, Scots don't take another restart. So that leads basically directly to the Feyi-Waboso try. I think that's his first test try. It's a bit of a gaping hole, to be fair, at the side of a ruck. Ben Spencer just picks up on rushing Feyi-Waboso. Redpath standing next to the ruck. There's a big gap to the man beside him. So Feyi-Waboso runs straight through it. So good move, but a misconversion from Finn Smith hits the post. Means it's still a 9-point deficit. So England need 2 scores. They really have to force the play. They don't look comfortable doing it. Like, there's one moment where Lawrence has got a big run. He passes it wide to Ben Earl, but the pass is a bit of a shocker. It goes straight into touch. So not ideal. Van der Merwe gets man of the match and then gets yellow carded at the same time for a tip tackle, which is kind of an unusual one, because usually when you get man of the match, you're celebrating, but he was trudging off the pitch. They did bunker his yellow card, but they said it was just yellow. And then, Scotland finished the game with a couple of kind of good defensive moments. Ashman in particular, with I think it was Ashman, and prior to that Dempsey, a couple of big tackles to kind of hold up the English ball carriers and get more turnovers. So, 4 in a row. 4 in a row. Scotland over England. Yeah, as the commentary team I was thinking to mention, there'll be some Scottish kids who they beat England every year for as long as they've probably been watching rugby, which is just an interesting state of affairs, man. Possession finishes 49-51, so pretty tight. England edged the territory 56-44. Turnovers conceded as 22 by England, 14 to Scotland. So that's very high. Very, very high, but a lot of those in the first half. Clean breaks 4 apiece. Defenders beaten 20-22. England get a couple more, but much of a muchness. England edged the run meters 402 to 298. Penalties conceded, Scotland 10, England 5. So there's a few areas England, I think, will be disappointed they weren't able to get kind of more out of in this game. And how nice is it having a guy like Duhan van der Merwe in your team? Likes scoring tries against England. He finishes with 89 metres, 2 clean breaks, 6 defenders beaten, which is not bad. 3 tries. Kinghorn has 42 metres on his return to the side. Dealt with the high balls mostly pretty well. It was interesting to see England kicking so many high balls when they didn't pick Stewart in the period of the second half. Like, he's your man to chase high balls more than anybody else, but he wasn't in the side. Furbank still finished with 92 metres, a clean break. A couple of defenders beaten as well, plus that try. Ben Earl had 15 from 17 tackles. Darge and Cummings also had 15 tackles on the Scottish side. Feyi-Waboso, from the bench, 45 metres, is just behind Earl and Furbank. So he comes off the bench and makes more metres than virtually the majority of his team, the vast majority of his team. A clean break and 3 defenders beaten. So, I don't know. I'd like to see him get a start. But what can I say? I like attacking powerful wingers. Yeah, Scotland have got one. He did all right. Scotland, they've got Italy away next in a couple of weeks' time. England will be back home to Ireland, which is going to be a big old game. But they got 2 weeks to prepare. You guys let us know your thoughts on the game. How well do you think England can match Ireland to try and potentially play spoilers to that Irish Grand Slam, which is potentially on the horizon? We've still got games to go, but yeah, it's looking on the cards. I'm sure a lot of the other teams would be supporting England in that regard to, like Scotland could use Ireland getting a loss, but their destiny's still in their own hands. Scotland will look for a big performance against Italy in a couple of weeks, but they'll be certainly celebrating the win over England. You guys let us know your thoughts on the game. I am going to go take a nap. I'll see you guys again later. Bye-bye.